Hey guys, thanks for clicking on another one of my videos. If this is your first time, hi, hello, my name is Emmy. I am married with 2 children, and this is a channel all about my family of 4 and how we are trying to get out of over $200,000 worth of debt. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, please click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. I like to post budgeting content every so often. So today we're going to be checking in with our first paycheck of May. Now this video is a little bit late, but I figure better late than never. Just kind of checking in with you, showing you what's been going on. So this is my monthly spread. If you guys remember from April, I made some stickers that were like an April shower theme. So I thought it was kind of cute. April showers bring May flowers. Oh, how cute. So I made these stickers and labels myself, but then all of these accents here are from the Happy Planner sticker books. I'm still trying to work out all of the kinks and stuff of opening up an Etsy shop, but whenever it is open, I will let you guys know so you can get these labels and stickers and budgeting sheets and all of that yourself. So I don't really want to spend too much time on going through every single transaction, but just so you know, I do write down every single variable expense that I have, along with any income and bills and savings. I put it all here on a monthly view so I can kind of visually see where all of our money is going. And I color code everything, and I'll probably show you that more in depth in a different video, but I wanted to show you kind of what our May budget looks like. So again, these stickers I made myself. Here I'm going to show you what it is that I budgeted for in May, and then we'll get into the actuals a little bit later. But first we start with my husband's paycheck. It's about the same every month. So we have $3,263.80. My minimum paycheck every other Friday is $1,090, and then if I put any overtime hours, I get a little bit more than that. I put in a lot of overtime because we have quite a few expenses coming up, which you'll see in just a moment. So I'm going to be making more than this, but I went ahead and budgeted the minimum expected. Rakuten is a app that you really need to sign up for. I will leave my referral code down below. But basically, anytime you do online shopping, if you do that shopping through the Rakuten app, you get a percentage of cash back. It's a really, really great app. So like anything that I'm going to buy anyway, like I had to buy my son some new clothes. I had to buy my daughter some new clothes. I bought some things in April off the Ulta website, and so all of those things that I was going to do anyway, if I bought them using the Rakuten app, I got like 2%, 5%, and even 20% cash back on those purchases. So anyway, I expect to get this much. You get like a big fat check is what they call it, and like every quarter, I want to say. It's every couple of months. They either mail you a check or they put a check in your PayPal account. So my big fat check for May is supposed to be about this much. It might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. It all depends on like where the cutoff was for how much cash back I received. But anyway, that's the budgeted amount. I expect to take home $150 from my baking side hustle. If you guys don't know, I do have a little baking side business. I do work full-time from home for an insurance company, but on the side, I also like to bake cookies and cakes and cake pops and all those yummy treats. And so that's my little side business. And so I'll put a link somewhere of my video where I try to budget out my side hustle income, and I'm currently trying to take home 25% of everything I make. So I'm hoping that 25% or my take home pay will be $150 this month. I expect we're going to use $800 of our sinking funds this month, and that's just based off of what are some of the expenses that are happening, plus looking back on past months' patterns. And so if we use $800 in sinking funds, then we're going to be using that. I consider that as an income because we're using the sinking funds savings to pay for all that stuff. I hope that makes sense. So this is an income. It's like savings used, if you will. And then any other income, I expected to get $40 from additional cashback apps. I use other cashback apps like Fetch Rewards and Ibotta, and once a month I like to deplete those accounts, or once they get to a pretty good amount. So I think I can get $40 from those cashback apps this month. In total, we're looking at $6,454.17 for a budgeted income. After I know my income, I then like to budget out all of my bills. These are things that need to be paid no matter what. So I like to list every single bill that happens in the month, and then I just write down what those payments are. If I don't know exactly what the payment is going to be, for example, my power bill or my water bill, sometimes when I make my budget, I don't have those bills yet. So I just make a guess based off of last month's bill or last year this time, what that bill was like. And so I just make an educated guess. So that's what I did for my power bill. My water bill I did get in time. So I know that that's going to be the actual amount for my water bill. But yeah, subscriptions and all of that stuff, that's all of the bills. So our bill total is $1,090.04. So I subtract that from my budgeted income, and so we are left with $5,364.13. After we write down all of our bills, I like to write down debt payments because a lot of these debts have a minimum payment every month. And ideally, I want to come back to these and make extra payments, but these are the minimums that need to be paid. So the debts that we have are currently our mortgage, 2 credit cards, and my husband's car. There are other debts that we have. If you saw my debt repayment plan video, but those currently do not have any interest, and there's just no hurry to pay those back at the moment. So I don't list those in my debt payments. So I'm just listing these 4. And all of those debt minimum payments are $1,418.70. So if I subtract that from what was left over from the bills, we are left with $3,945.43. Okay. I hope I'm not going too fast for you guys. I hope this is making sense. I'm a little flustered. I hope you guys are doing okay. I just jumped right into this. Didn't even ask, like, how are you? How are you doing? I hope you are all well. It is hotter than Satan's armpit outside. It is so hot. I went in my car to run a few errands, and I'm pretty sure I have 3rd-degree burns on the back of my thighs because the leather on my seats were just so hot. Oh, it's so hot outside. Blech. Okay, anyway, sorry. Back to it. Yes, so the next thing that I go into in my budget are my expenses, and these are what some people call their cash envelopes or their variable spending, but I just label them as expenses, and these are things that don't necessarily have to be paid every month, but they're like necessary for living, such as food and gas in order to like get around. So these are our expenses for May. I like to budget about $230 every week for food, and that is including eating out and groceries. And groceries includes things like toilet paper, diapers, wipes, laundry detergent, all of that stuff. I know some people separate their groceries, or first of all, a lot of people separate their food category into groceries and eating out, and then they further separate their grocery budget into like household items, but we just put it all together in one. So anyway, $230 a week. May happens to have for us about 5 weeks. It's a little bit less than 5 weeks, so it just turned out to be $1,090 for the whole month for food. My husband gets $100 a week. Then, like I said, there's almost 5 weeks not April, in May. So he doesn't get 500, he gets 475. For my allowance, I get $75 a week. And so, again, almost 5 weeks would make it $350 for me. For gas and transportation, I'm currently budgeting $120 a week. So that's about my husband and I filling up once per week. Currently, he's filling up about once per week and I'm filling up about once every other week. But prices are going up again, so I'm going to continue budgeting for that amount. And about 5 weeks makes it $565. Sinking funds, like I said, I expect us to use $800 of it today. I expect us to use $800 from our sinking funds. So that's where that additional $800 income is coming from on the other side. And then my son is turning 6 years old in May. He's going to be 6 on the 25th. And so I am budgeting $500 for his birthday. I don't have a sinking fund necessarily for big birthday parties. We do have a gift sinking fund, but that's mostly for presents. And that's usually for, like, I use the gift sinking fund for Mother's Day, which you will see in a little bit. We also used that fund when we had a family friend who passed away. So we used that sinking fund to buy them flowers. And then we also use that sinking fund if my son is going to a birthday party and we need to buy a gift for his classmate, those sorts of things. So for his actual birthday, we don't have a sinking fund set up. And because this is his 6th birthday party, he is currently in kindergarten. So this is his first set of friends, I guess, because he went to daycare in years past. And yeah, he had friends at daycare, but when you're like 2 or 3 years old, I mean, how much of a friend do you really have when you're that age? I know that sounds terrible, but like, you know what I mean. A lot of the friendships at that age are almost like forced friendships. But he's actually at that age where he comes home and he starts talking about the kids that he plays with. And, you know, he tells me stories about who he sits at lunch with and what they did in class. And so, like, he actually has friends. And this is the first time in several years where we're actually going to be able to have a birthday party for him because of COVID and all of the lockdowns, and a lot of venues weren't open for parties and such. So I really wanted this to be a special birthday for him. So we have rented out a venue that is like an indoor inflatable place. And so they have inflatable slides, and it's like a little kids play gym, I guess. And so we have that place rented out, and that is about $300, which I know is very pricey, but he hasn't had a birthday party in 2 years because of COVID. And not only do I want him to have a birthday party, but I want him to have a good one, just because, you know, I don't want another party where it's just the family at home. I want him to be able to invite his friends and have a good time. So we budgeted the $300 for the birthday and the remaining $200 for like the food and the presents and things like that. So I thought $500 would be a good number. Some of you guys might think that's a little bit much, and it probably is. And worst case scenario, we probably won't spend all of that, and that'd be great. But I wanted to go ahead and budget that just in case. Okay, and then unbudgeted, we never budget for, so that is $0. So that means our total expenses for May, or cash envelopes, variable spending, whatever, that is $3,780. And so when I subtract that from what was left over, then we are left with $165.43. And that is not a lot of money, but that's okay. Most of it is going towards my son's birthday, and I'm fine with that. So our savings account, we have a Wells Fargo Save and Go account, which means anytime we make a purchase using our checking account, Wells Fargo takes a percentage of what we spend, and they move money from our checking account to our savings account without telling us or anything. It's usually just $1 or $2 every day or every other day. So it's really not that noticeable, but it adds up in the long run. So just based on the past couple of months and what's been happening, I estimated that they would move about $20 into our savings account this month. I plan on putting $100 away for a down payment for a new car for me. I don't plan on making any deposits into my sinking funds this month because I already stuffed my sinking funds for May in my last April paycheck. So since I don't have to make any deposits, I'm not saving any there. And because we have some money left over, I wanted to start a savings challenge. I haven't decided what savings challenge I want to do. Maybe I'll make my own. I have no idea. But with $40 left over, I really want to start a savings challenge of some kind. I haven't started one yet, and I've been budgeting for a couple months on this channel, so I want to do a challenge. Leave a comment down below for like your favorite savings challenges. I want to check out some Etsy stuff, please. Okay, so that's $160 for savings, which leaves a leftover of $5.43, which I'm okay with having that in our checking account buffer. So my summary box here, if I take my total income, I subtract everything from bills, debts, expenses, and savings, we are left with $5.43 for the month, which will be left in our checking account buffer. Of course, that's all just the budgeted amount. Ideally, we're going to spend a lot less in a lot of these categories, so we should hopefully have more than that left over, but we'll just see how the month goes on. So, moving on to our weekly check-in. So what I did here is I wrote down every single week of what the expenses that I have and what I'm keeping track of, which are, sorry to keep flipping back and forth here, this right here, the variable spending. And because there are 5 weeks, there wasn't enough lines on my page to do all that. So what I did is I have food, husband's allowance, my allowance, the gas, sinking funds, and then I just have the unbudgeted and my son's birthday expenses all in one line. Okay, and so what I have here is I wrote down that weeks 1 and 2 are all going to be covered in paycheck 1. Weeks 3 and 4 are covered in paycheck 2. And then week number 5 is supposed to be covered in paycheck number 3. So we budget from the 25th to the 25th of every month just because of how our paychecks are spaced out when my husband and I get paid. So yeah. Bottom line, end of paycheck number 1, we didn't do so hot. End of paycheck number 1 ended with us going over budget in the food category, $127.77. We just ate out a lot. I'll show you that in just a minute. My husband did really, really well. He was under budget by $31.17. I'm gonna say that again, y'all. My husband was under budget $31.17. Can we get a whoop whoop for my husband? I am so proud of him. After, you know, a couple of talks, I was like, look, honey, I love you so much. I love you so much. But here's what we got to do. And you know, we sat down, we looked at the numbers together. I really tried to show him, like, you know, this is where I'm coming from. This is our actual budget, our actual numbers of what's happening. If you want to make a dent in our debt payments, then we really have to hustle a bit more. And already, like, our allowances, we're giving ourselves a lot for an allowance. We really are, compared to like what I see other people do. And I know, like, budgeting, everybody's journey is different, and I shouldn't be comparing because everyone's lifestyle is different, everyone's money and financial situation is different, so I shouldn't compare. I know that. But still, it does put things in perspective. Like, that's why we watch budgeting videos, right? Is so we can get an idea of what's working, what isn't, what some people do. We can get ideas from each other, things like that. So anyway, after we had a long discussion together, we did decide that we are going to buckle down. We're not going to be doing so much frivolous spending. I've talked about even increasing the grocery budget if he wants to bring snacks to school. It is the end of the school year now. So he has, I think, like a week left of school, maybe 2 weeks. I don't remember. But, you know, all of those lunch snacks or gas station runs, like those won't be happening so much anymore. So if we see a dip in those things, then that would be great. Anyway, so he proved himself and he showed us that we can do it. Me, however, I went over budget by $30.25. And honestly, during this paycheck, it was tough. Like, this was a tough couple of weeks for me because this was right after my birthday. This was leading up to Mother's Day. This was the week of, like, my son had his baseball game that he had to go to. I had so many orders I was working on for my baking business, and I just could not be bothered to eat leftovers at home. I could not be bothered to make myself anything at home. I just wanted takeout all the time. And I know that's bad. Like, it's obviously terrible. So I ordered DoorDash way too often during this paycheck. I did get my nails done, but like, I had money in my allowance when I got my nails done. And it was the DoorDashing that ultimately put me over budget. Like, I DoorDashed once or twice too many times. And yes, I did order multiple times in a 2-week period. It was terrible. Not proud of it. But the winner in all of this happens to be the gas category. I mean, we were under budget by $139, which is crazy. I know gas prices are going back up, so I don't know if we're going to see this much of a savings in the future, but I really hope we do, because that's awesome. After all of this happened, sorry, I had to go deal with my cat's litter box. He has a self-cleaning litter box. I know, he's spoiled rotten, and it just needed a filter change. So sorry if you could hear that beeping in the background. But anyway, I went ahead and tallied up all this stuff. So even though we went over here, I went over, my husband was under, and gas was under, so we were left over from paycheck number one, $12.15, which is great because that's going to go into a savings challenge. Hooray! I'm so excited. Okay, so that was paycheck number one's check-in. To kind of show you a little bit more in depth here, my husband got paid exactly what I thought he was going to. We used a little bit less in sinking funds than I thought, because I thought we were going to spend about $800 a week, or I'm sorry, $800 in the month of May, not $800 a week, $800 in the month of May, dividing that up by 5 weeks. I just thought 320 would be the amount we would use, but we used a little bit less. We did get another income. We got an interest payment of a whopping 2 pennies. I know, super generous of Wells Fargo. Am I right? So anyway, 2 pennies, that's what we got. So our income was just a little bit less than what I thought, because of the sinking funds difference, $3,547.81. Moving on to the bills that came out during this paycheck. The majority of our bills come out during this paycheck because this is when my husband gets paid. He only gets paid once a month, and so a lot of our big ticket items come out during this time. I'm just kind of glancing through here. Most of our bills are the same. Daycare was a little bit more expensive because it's usually $253 a month. My daughter goes to daycare twice a week, and so this is how much it is for her to go for the whole month, just 2 times a week. But I forgot to send a check in with her, and it was due, and if we didn't pay it, then it would have a $50 late fee. So I had to pay online, and when you pay online, there's like a credit card fee like when you pay with your card online. So it was a little bit more because of that fee. Looks like our phone bill was just a couple cents less, but everything else is pretty much the same. Yeah. So $884.28 for bills, which leaves us a leftover of $2,663.53. Moving on to the debt payments. The minimum payments that were due during this paycheck were our mortgage and the Wells Fargo credit card that we have. That all came out exactly as budgeted, so we were left with $1,677.99. So this is the expenses I was just telling you about when I showed you the weekly check-in. So overall in expenses, we spent $1,421.84, which is a little bit less than what I thought we were going to spend. So that means we have a rollover amount of $256.15. And I laid down my stickers for my sinking funds, and then I forgot that I already funded the sinking funds in my last April paycheck. So I just kind of scratched through it and said already funded. So in summary, subtracting from my total income the bills, the debts, the expenses, and the sinking funds, which again we didn't do, the rollover amount is $256.15. So that's exactly what I did over here in paycheck number 2. I have a rollover amount of $256.15. Now I did already write out my budgeted amount for paycheck number 2, but I'm not going to show you that right now. I'll show you that in another video. Alright guys, that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you watched the video this far, please leave me a thumbs up and a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. I hope your budgets are going well. I hope you are doing well. I'll talk with you guys soon, okay? Love you. Bye-bye.